Welcome to Beyond the Threshold, the podcast where we explore the evolving landscape of security across schools, sports, healthcare, cities, and beyond. Every episode, we dive into the challenges and innovations that shape how we protect our communities. Today's discussion is hosted by Evolve's co-founder, Anil Chitkara.
We're here today at the 2024 IACP show with a tremendous amount of vendors that are providing hardware and software and solutions for the law enforcement communities around the world. We're lucky to have former law enforcement officer with Dom D'Orazio. Please give us your law enforcement background.
Sure. 25 years or nearly 25 years with the NYPD, from patrolman to, the executive ranks. My last assignment, I was the commanding officer of criminal enterprise investigations. Pretty rewarding assignment, but now enjoying the time.
And what was the best role you had, the best assignment you had at the NYPD?
So, you know what? I had a really blessed career, but I always say that being a patrolman, being a street cop in Coney Island was my favorite time in the NYPD. Yeah.
A career in law enforcement can set you up to do lots of different things when you're done, when you retire. You can become security directors at organizations. You can join security consulting firms, lots of different things. Why did you decide to come to Evolve?
Yeah, coming from law enforcement, I guess the one thing that I would say is, a lot of people to leave my job and go into the private sector, they end up being chief security officers, and as you mentioned before. But really, the problem-solving aspect of what we do here was really what drew me. Really what drew me to Evolve. Right, being able to go out and work with customers on solving the problems that are most important to them, and being a part of that solution. Consulting. This gives me the opportunity to do both. Right, to be in the private sector and still keep close ties to the community.
Yeah, take the experience and expertise you have for many years. Help understand what a customer is trying to do in their own security environment. How can you help them, first of all, about thinking about it, and then can technology play a role? So let's turn to technology. So certainly technology today is very different than it was 10 years and 20 years ago. How have you seen technology evolve over time to help the job of policing or the job of security?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, the technological advancements have made policing much more efficient. So the efficiency, the speed at which you can get to the answers with technology, leveraging technology is, vastly different from where it was 20 years ago, obviously. Also with officer safety, technology providing that information in real time has, it has its benefits in officer safety, as well as, like I said, crime prevention and as an investigative tool. So.
And as we've seen generally over the last few years, and certainly as we've come out of COVID, law enforcement has had a lot of people leaving or retiring. So I think it's interesting to think about how technology can augment what they're doing and make it even better. So we see things like cameras on elevated poles with analytics running. We see drone technology. We see advancements in body cam and other technologies. How do you think about technology filling a gap that officers can't do, or makes it much better than what they do today?
Yeah, so, make no mistake about it, right? The technology is very important. You can never eliminate the human insights, though, right? The human element or the human component of it, very important in crime fighting strategies. But as you said, to augment the human component, very effective, right? You mentioned pole cameras, you mentioned being in places where staffing shortages maybe prevent you from being there. You could be there with cameras and other kinds of technology, drones. See a lot of drones. You walk around the show floor, but never you can never make the mistake of thinking it's going to completely replace the human insights that you get from the law enforcement experience.
Dom, you worked with a law enforcement agency which is the world leader in using technology to help keep citizens and people safe. You now are on the other side, providing technology to law enforcement and security professionals. What are some of the lessons learned that security professionals should keep in mind as they think about incorporating technology into their security plans?
So I think it's important when you're adopting solutions to have a holistic approach, right? Often we have fragmented solutions that aren't able to communicate with each other, or sometimes systems become outdated. Technology moves very fast, right? So we want to stay up to date with it and make sure that we have a solution that makes sense for everyone. And like I said, the communication, either interagency or outside the agency, is important.
There's a tremendous amount of technology here on the show. As you reflect on security and think about the different technologies here, what are one or two themes that you see or you're excited about as you look forward?
So obviously the buzzword is AI right now, AI powered. That's really exciting for me. When I think about the future of AI and really, predictive policing and using data analytics for predictive policing and a proactive approach. Because remember, like, we could solve crimes, but when you solve a crime, there's still a victim on the other end of that crime. So you really want to stop the crimes before they happen, right? So the types of technology that I'm most excited about are the things that are proactive and can prevent, someone from being victimized, so that we don't need to solve that crime.
As we've seen in many cities in the U.S., gun violence continues to be a problem. Some cities it's worse than other cities, but I think every city wants to eliminate it. And that may not be a realistic goal, but certainly bring gun violence down. As you think about cities and their efforts to reduce gun violence, so they have safer places to go, safer places for people that are working there, safer places for tourists that are coming there, what are the one or two pieces of advice you have for those cities, or one or two things you've seen that they should consider as they try to use gun violence prevention programs?
Sure. I mean, for old school policing, right? I'm a fan of high visibility type of approaches, right? Proactive approaches to crime prevention, and also, you can't discount the community interaction, right? You have to bring the community into whatever solutions you're trying to implement. So we talk about technology. Technology could be a scary thing for the community. So you really want to have some transparency with what you're doing. So just, explain to them about police, procedure, use of force type reports, any kind of transparency that you could bring to the community to bring them closer to you is very helpful. And of course, like I said, like the high visibility approach, a proactive approach, and stopping someone from becoming a victim is the most important thing.
You spend your days working with security professionals around the country in many different types of environments to help them create safer places. What is your advice for one piece of personal advice or career advice for a mid-level security person who wants to continue to grow their career in security?
I think that it's very important for security professionals, if they want to take it to the next level, to communicate amongst their peers, to engage the community, to bring in local law enforcement. I think it's important that they just have a collaborative approach and understand that there's a lot of resources out there at your fingertips, but you have to leverage them.
First of all, really appreciate the service you provided in law enforcement to keep your community safer. And secondly, thanks for taking the time today to talk to us about how technology can complement and augment, whether it's law enforcement or private security operations, to make places safer.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Beyond the Threshold. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to subscribe and share the podcast with others who care about creating safer communities. Stay tuned for more expert insights and thought-provoking discussions in our next episode. Until then, thanks for going beyond the threshold with us. Stay safe.